Today, I am the wizard with a gun. Wizard with a Gun is an interesting kind of orthographic top-down shooter survival crossover game. Alright, there's a little bit to this, it gets a little complicated, but it is essentially a roguelite. You are tasked by being the wizard with a gun, as the title would suggest, and you're set right before chaos is brought to the world and the world is effectively over. It is ended. You have the ability to roll back time, and you do that just before the chaos falls, meaning you're kind of caught in a loop where you can leave your kind of sanctum, your little ark that saves you from this calamity, jump to the world, kind of get around, poke around, collect all of the resources you can, and defeat as many bosses as you can before the timer runs out and chaos indeed comes and ruins the world. At that moment, you have to escape back to your little Stargate, your portal, very similar to Stargate if you're familiar with the show, and that will allow you to continue and keep all of your items, all of your resources, and carry that through with you to the next playthrough. And that's sort of how the roguelite long game works. But it is to be said that there is certainly a multiplayer lean to this game. It is meant to be co-op. You can both host and find open games. Due to the nature and the timing of getting the review, there was not a whole lot of people online. We did not have a partner for myself to join in online, so I had to face this one solo, and that exposes a bit of a missed opportunity. A missed connection of sorts. I played solo, and although I'm not bad at these games, I was hit with a roadblock rather early on. This game has you, of course, re-rolling time several times, but your overall goal is to collect these special cogs. These cogs fit together with your time dilation device of sorts, and that will progress the game forward. But the issue I was having is that I can re-roll into that same instance over and over and over again, but I can't find any more cogs, any more of these gears. They just don't exist, or if they do, they're very hard to find. I feel like I've almost exhausted the area that I'm allowed to play in, and that is frustrating because I just cannot break through to the next level, to the next area, or the next boss fight, whichever it is. Sometimes it appears that multiplayer is a necessity for this game. Some of the survival aspects come into play when you're in these very long extended plays where you've accepted that the timer is going to run out. Maybe you can prolong it as you play, but the timer will run out, the world will get harsher, more enemies will spawn, and that's when the real difficulty begins. If I had a co-op partner, you could use these survival aspects to make different housing, different buildings, things to defend yourself, but also power and reload, and just kind of research new upgrades. There's a whole lot of long game, but I found because I was by myself, I really couldn't experience that much, and that is a real drag, because I think there's a great potential in this game to be making those big, high-risk, high-reward runs. It's something that seems really fun to me, but I'm stuck in this very low level. Sometimes the enemies will spawn with a number rating. They do, and as time goes on, these numbers get higher and higher, these enemies get stronger to attack, and their armor rating just put off any damage I could do. I understand the mechanics to this game is that you're going to create different ammo types and kind of upgrade your weapons slightly, but I found that getting those resources, with the situation like I described, I'm solo, I have to get in and get out quickly, I can only gather so many of the resources to create so many of the ammo types, and those ammo types will extend to me further beyond that point of chaos ensue, but it wasn't enough to break through, and it's really a drag. That's what I think a missed opportunity here would have been, something to alleviate this kind of difficulty. I did find some success making some of the NPCs turn and fight each other, and there's different charm abilities you can get for your weapon, but like I said, it's really not user-friendly. It's going to take you a while to kind of grind through and get the real hang of the game. Aside from the difficulty, or in fact in the face of the difficulty, the game looks really nice. It has that kind of not serious, kind of cartoonish look to it, but I find that's something that really appeals to me nowadays. It'll age on very well, and it's not breaking any records, nor does it need to. The visuals don't get in the way of the gameplay at all, but they are cute, and they're very easy to visually track. Some of these games can get messy, as a lot of projectiles are thrown around. I didn't find that to be the case in this one. And the soundtrack is probably one of the biggest highlights of the game. Funny enough, as you're running through this game, there's just a constant accompanying track that usually has good energy and helps you keep the tempo up as you're running through this. Keep in mind, this is, again, a little bit more of a time trial game. You're trying to move quickly, and the music does help. When it comes to the actual score on this game, what I would give it is a little bit complicated, because I was missing that co-op link. Although I didn't have a co-op partner to play with, I can see how that works into the overall structure of the game. It does seem to be a necessity, and that does knock it a little bit, but I had a great time in this world. The time spent in these runs was incredibly difficult. I have to give this one a 7. I would, again, be able to kind of comment on different aspects of it. Perhaps this is looking a little bit better of an experience than a 7, but my time spent in it, I think this is an interesting game. It is there for somebody, and if you like roguelite, I think you're going to like this one.